What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Unusual Suspects. I am Connor Walcott, your humble host for the evening. With me, as always, are my friends and fellow conspiracy theorists, Vincent Oshana, Humberto, whose last name shall not be mentioned, and Brandon Aceto, back to give you more of that craziness you crave.
Would you say conspiracy theorists, or are we coincidence?
No, we're conspiracy predictors. We're ahead of the curve.
You know what? I just think the word conspiracy, like theorist, it's like ooh, you're crazy. No. I connect dots that you're not supposed to connect.
We wear that badge proudly because
great marketing campaign by the CIA to label it that way.
For JFK, they wanted you to be like, yeah, you're a theorist. No. It's not, by the way, the word conspiracy. You conspired with another person to do an illegal act. Murder, bank robbery, fraud.
Everywhere around us.
Dude, I conspired today with him to do something to Alicia. It just happens.
Well, I guess we'll check on Alicia as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
But on that note, we have a great show for you lined up today.
Oh, sorry.
You're pulling a Tom.
What a boomer over here. Learn to mute your devices,
My
old
bad.
Great show lined up for you guys today. We are going to start off by talking about Charlie Kirk. Today would have been his 32nd birthday. We will take some time to memorialize him, talk about how the Trump administration is also honoring his memory. Then we're going to get into some other crazy stuff like what's going on with Tyler Robinson, the guy who took Charlie Kirk from us, as well as discuss the possible fate of Donald Trump's soul, how Turning Point is counter-programming the Super Bowl, the possibility of a Qatari military base being built somewhere in the United States. What's up with that? We'll give you the details, and a couple other things if there's time. But starting off, let's get into, like I said, Charlie Kirk. Today would have been Charlie's 32nd birthday, were he still with us. But as we know, tragically, about a month ago, he was assassinated, allegedly by a radical leftist activist, although there are some questions on that we will discuss later. But starting off here, just because we're trying to keep this light right off the bat, Charlie would have, been still about the business of doing what he did best, which was leading Turning Point, opening people's eyes, defending the cause of conservatism, and upholding the country that he loved most. I forget. Did you guys meet Charlie at any point?
We did. Yeah. I mean, we at the podcast
Turning Point.
Yeah, Turning Point twice. And I remember vividly going in the backstage. And it's really dark, and he's sitting in this little table with like the director and somebody else, and he still saw me, stood up, walked over, gave me a handshake with a hug. He's like, "Thank you for coming, bro." One of the most hospitable, one of one. I know Pat said, one of one, like nobody else, bro. That's why it's such a freaking still. It's unbelievable to think that this guy was not only just speaking the truth, but what he was saying and having these conversations that, bro, let's be honest, a lot of people don't want to have. A lot of people, you're stuck in your echo chamber. You're stuck in your ways. Bro, I had to teach myself to listen to other people's opinions because you're not right. The majority of the time I'm wrong. But listen, no, I'm being dead serious. But to listen to somebody and have that debate and have that conversation, I think was well needed. And bro, this guy, man, the movement, the voice, I love how they're trying to replace this guy, especially with these weird leg crossed, very feminine guys that are trying to debate, and it's not going to work, bro. This guy is not. You can't remake a Charlie Kirk.
No, the market decides. And I mean, you're right. I remember when we went there for Turning Point, he had like that glow and that aura about him where simultaneously he's like the star of the event, but also he's like walking around being attentive and hospitable to everybody.
Amazing.
Like, treating everybody exactly the same. Like, just totally like beautiful soul the guy had in terms of like being humble and incredibly successful. So yeah, the market's going to decide who the next guy is. That's that type of figure that people look up to. It's not going to be somebody just anoints themselves
or manufactured where they're like, hey, listen, you're gonna slowly put this guy. It's like, bro, like you said, the market decides, and it's not organic. You can't recreate that, bro. That guy's been doing this since he was a kid. It took years, bro. It took 20 years to get you to where he's, biblically, educated, politically, life. Social stuff, trans, this, gays, and to tie it all in to have that, bro. It's like
and
you're
brave,
not gonna remake that.
And brave and well spoken. That's a rare combo.
And just a dude's dude,
Yep.
Like I usually sit between the green room and the podcast room, and then I observe guests when they come in. You know, some of them they will stay in the green room taking phone calls and this. And then I remember, I think you have a video of it. Like last time he came, it was just Vinnie and Charlie just mooking around,
talking crap about Steve Schmidt and the buddy. That's how he. Before I ever met him, he knew me because he'd watched the podcast and he loved how I went after that guy. Meaning with facts, debate. I mean, I was yelling and I was off the freaking charts. And by the way, I was red because I was drinking the vault drinks that we had.
Not FDA approved.
That was a mad time around here. If you're new on the channel, you might have missed when we used to have an energy drink called Vault.
I was geeked out of my mind.
Completely not FDA regulated. We have no idea what was in this. But
ketones.
Aaron just kept walking around saying like ketones. They had ketones, guys.
Yeah, they had ketones.
It was supposed to unlock your brain, but I think it unlocked a portal to hell inside Vinnie.
It almost, what do you mean unlock the door to get to the hospital where I was about to have a heart attack? And then Steve Schmidt, I didn't know I was gonna go there, but for him to say January 6th was the worst day in America. Shut the hell up. So that was Charlie's like connection with me. He's like, bro, I love how you destroyed that guy. And then the friendship took off. But it's like, man.
And I truly regret not being at that Turning Point event in Arizona last year where everybody got to meet him and he was on the show. Great guy. I wish our paths would have crossed. I attended multiple Turning Point events at different times while doing, various journalism things, but I never got to meet him. But I mean, even so, his legacy is everywhere around us in the movement we're in. Like, he basically kickstarted a lot of what we do. Things wouldn't be possible if Charlie hadn't gotten the ball rolling on a lot of these movements. And in recognition of that, Rick Scott, our senator, former governor, has designated October 14th today as a National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk in Florida. So it is a thing today that we are remembering Charlie.
For his birthday.
Yeah, he's trying to make it a national thing, and they're trying to make it annual as well, which would be outstanding to have every October 14th be a day we remember the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. And even beyond that, Donald Trump, which... Talk about a guy who never stops moving. He's been in Israel, he's been in Egypt, he's been bouncing all over the Middle East, securing historic peace deals. Now he's on his way back here.
I think he's back.
Yeah, he rushed back here early morning, hopped off a plane to come get ready to award Charlie posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Wow.
And that is going to be a big ceremony. He had promised this a couple weeks ago. I believe Erica Kirk will be receiving the medal on his behalf. Here's Donald Trump promising to bestow the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the country, on Charlie Kirk after his death.
And I'm coming back, I believe it's Tuesday night, for Charlie Kirk, a friend of mine, a friend of all of ours, a friend of a lot of the people right here. And we're giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor you get outside of the Congressional Medal of Honor. One's military, one's civilian, but it's the greatest honor. And Erica's beautiful wife is going to be here, and a lot of people are going to be here. So, it's not easy for me to get back. It's a very quick trip, but I'll be making 2 major stops, and then I'll be on the plane trying to get back in time for Charlie. They're going to have a great celebration at the White House, in the East Room of the White House.
So, in my brain, I was like, you know what? Okay, traveling a lot, Egypt. I mean, you're on Air Force One. It's a freaking luxury. Amazing, but the same token, Caitlin Collins, she was on some podcast, and I forgot what it was recent, and the guy's like, so how is it traveling with him? And she literally was like, he doesn't sleep. She's like, he'll walk in the room and like, is everybody okay? Come on, and like bring everybody in because he wants to talk or do whatever. So yeah, man. I mean, he's on a different level, but I think the Charlie Kirk thing is, bro. People didn't realize how big and how important and how amazing Charlie was until the memorial, and you got to freaking Arizona, and you're like, wait a minute. There's 250,000 people running around. They were geo-tracking. Well, that's a whole different situation. But that many people were there. People were turned away, and it really made people go, oh my God.
That's the crazy thing I was saying. Like, he will come and walk by himself, just joke around before going in, just moking around,
and then beyond.
And you don't like realize the like how important this guy was.
The magnitude of him.
There are multiple members of Congress who credit Charlie and Turning Point with their winning elections. Donald Trump probably owes a big chunk of his success to Charlie Kirk
Big time.
in 2024.
But it's kind of weird though. Like I know he knows it, but I don't know, man. And again, this is just how the president is with emotions. He's ice cold, like Pat has said it. But the day when they were like, "Hey, man, like Charlie Kirk and this and that," and he was like, "Yeah, it's sad, but look at what we're building over there." It was kind of a moment where I was like, "Dude," and I get. Well, everybody acts different. Everybody grieves different. I understand that. But I don't know when, because at the end, because I don't want to go there just with other people's grieving. I've been watching a lot, bro, and I know it's in hindsight, it's afterwards, but.
And you know what's been really incredible? That after his terrible assassination, because that's what it is, he got murdered in front of everyone. You start finding out more things about him and his character. You go like, wow, I didn't know this. Like some of the things that I heard after he died, like in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, Humberto, you're a terrible person. You judge people too quick. You're too unfair. And then details of his life and his action and people giving testimony about meeting him and everything, they start coming out and you're like, oh wow, this guy was in some other level,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, he's a phenom. I mean, he kind of has that Trump energy too, where he was like nonstop. And I mean, to think of like all the things he was involved in. But I wonder out of all that if Trump genuinely believes that this guy Robinson is the guy who did what they say he did and is the one person that's responsible for it. Because I mean, I don't have as much of a problem with Trump showing low emotions on it, but it like him just accepting the narrative hook, line, and sinker. That's what I have more of a problem with, because like there's just glaring holes in what they're telling us.
Go ahead.
No, just like if he cared deeply about Kirk, like it would mean more to me for him to be vehemently questioning that rather than giving a Medal of Freedom, to be honest.
And besides today being the birthday and the ceremony, for the past, it's as if people have completely moved on. And I'm with you, Brendan. I am so uncomfortable with the fact that at this point, and I'm almost positive everybody there, Jake and all the guys, and everybody, nobody believes the official narrative.
No.
The shit that they push down our throats. I would say I'm talking about people that I don't agree with as well. Some of my family members. None of them, Brandon, Connor, believe that this dude was up there, got off, had the screwdriver, took the gun. How about this? And if you guys know that it's not true, stop lying to us. How about just shut up?
Yeah.
How about just shut up? Do the investigation, because then people go, well, you guys aren't letting them go out there and do the job. Then guess what? Don't give me a little piece of food and then run away and I'm going to go chase you looking for more food. None of it makes sense. I don't believe texting your furry lover. By the way, does the furry guy even exist, Brandon?
Does Tyler Robinson exist? Does his family exist?
I don't know. Brother, and he just looks like he's been drugged. Just like, remember the Colorado shooting in the theater? The orange-haired guy?
Yeah.
If that wasn't the biggest case of it looked like he was drugged or MK Ultra, because they're always trying to get our guns, right?
Oh, yeah.
Brandon, he's in the courtroom, and I swear to you, he looked like he was drugged, hypnotized, and some of his initial stuff was like, I don't even know what the hell is going on right now.
Well, let's get into some of that stuff about Tyler Robinson in the courtroom.
And can I make a really quick point before you go into that? And again, guys, this is Vincent Oshana's gut. This is my intuition, Brandon. I've been watching all the stuff in the backgrounds of everybody and their family members. Turning Point's actions and all the stuff that Candace revealed and all that stuff, that's a whole different thing with Josh Hammer and all them, and apparently he's getting a lawyer, whatever. Watching all the videos and how his wife responded, and I just don't know. Something doesn't sit right with me, and that's not me saying she was with Israel or she had him murdered or none of that nonsense, but really pay attention to the whole response and the memorial speech, and you're wearing white and you're wearing the jewelry, and then at the end of it all, because we walked out because we had to leave. We had to leave when Trump was on because we were parked. There's 200,000 people there. I'm out.
Yeah.
We want to beat the traffic. Have you ever known for somebody to do this and do that towards the audience? Did you see that, Brandon?
No.
At the
Erica
end of
did
it,
that?
Trump comes.
Yeah, it's the sign language symbol for I love you.
I've never. How about
Is
this?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought hook 'em horns for the
No,
Texas.
that's yeah. I thought they were playing Texas.
So this is devil horns, which is like the rock. So when you see at rock concerts, people doing this, they're doing it wrong. It's that.
And she did it like that.
She did
But this is in American Sign Language. I love you, which is like a pretty common thing.
Okay.
To grow up. Like it's,
I don't know.
Because this is L and this is Y. So I love you.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you. When's the last time you ever saw somebody go
I mean, it's
At a rock concert or at a Texas game.
at a Texas
It's-
game? Yeah,
But it's not an uncommon thing, and apparently, as I heard it explained, the reason she did that is because they do that. They did that frequently to each other.
I never- how
So
was
she's
it?
holding up of like Charlie's in heaven.
Oh.
I love you. Up
I'm
there.
just saying, nothing is right. Besides the construction being done, besides there's like a piece of a bullet. Let me explain something to you.
Man of Steel.
This is so JFK. Listen to me. It's so JFK with the bullet, with the recordings. And I have to say this. To pull something off at this level and nobody's really accountable, that's not the... I don't believe none of that. Do you understand who has to be involved to shoot a guy that open, knowing there's cameras everywhere, and you still have gotten away with it? You think about it, because what I would assume that somebody behind, like if Charlie's sitting here, God rest his soul, somebody that was there might have had a camera, and in that camera was a gun. Because if you shoot somebody like that, and the technology's there, you have that loud bang. People are looking around like, and by the way, you're in a little crescent. You're coming down.
Yeah.
A pop in there. You don't know if it's coming from over there. You don't know if it's coming from over there.
Right.
I'm just saying, besides leaving my trust to God and the accountability when everybody's gone, because they're going to be held accountable, I don't think we're going to get it here, bro.
Against my better judgment, I went back and I watched the video again. The wide angle and the up close shot. People have since cleaned up the video and found better angles. I watched it. It's as horrific as it was the first time I watched it the day it happened. Mm-hmm. I still stand by he got shot from the front. Like I don't see it coming from behind him, because if in his neck that was an exit wound, somebody in front of him would have gotten hit. I don't see any other explanation.
If it was coming from this, if it's coming from up here, let's say somebody was shooting up here, because I saw a video where the shot's off. There's a guy sprinting, full sprint, older white gentleman, not a college student. So if Charlie's here, the guy's running from over there and getting over there. It just, nothing adds up. And again, if it's the bullet that they're claiming, his neck would have been blown off.
Yeah.
Period. There's no 30 outs. And that's their official narrative. And then all this writing on bullet casings bullshit, I don't believe it, bro. Sorry.
Can we go over the official narrative before we get into this?
Yeah.
Or do you have it there?
No, this is just real quick. I'll do this update just so we can
ahead.
talk about Tyler Robinson in context. There's now claims from his defense attorney that he needs to appear in court wearing regular clothes and no shackles, otherwise it would prejudice the jury against him. Reading from this, the man accused of assassinating conservative activist Charlie Kirk is asking a Utah judge to let him appear in court wearing civilian clothes rather than the orange jumpsuit and shackles of a prisoner. Tyler Robinson faces a possible death sentence for the shooting of Kirk at Utah Valley University. In a 21-page motion filed with Judge Tony Graff, Robinson's attorney argues that forcing him to appear in restraints would prejudice potential jurors, comparing the prison garb to a modern-day scarlet letter. They cite the case of Idaho killer Brian Kohberger, the one who killed, I think, like 3 college students in a dorm.
Yep.
He was allowed to appear in a suit during his high-profile trial. They said that's precedent, emphasizing that the repeated and ubiquitous display of their client in jail attire could lead to a perception that he is already guilty. So more procedural nonsense going on over this case. They want him to appear in a suit, not shackles. They're, the federal government's still trying to push for the death penalty. The trial's a mess. We've still never heard anything from Robinson. He hasn't entered a plea.
He hasn't admitted that he did it.
He hasn't confessed or denied it.
So
he has not entered a plea, and his next court date is not until October.
You know what I would
30th.
say if I was him? I know, hey guys, get my lawyer. This isn't admissible in court. I don't even want this in court. Show the world. Put me on a lie detector test if you're innocent, and go show the world. Show the world. Why not?
Yeah.
Bring it to the freaking jail. I didn't do it. I don't even, how about this? I don't even remember anything from over there, because I was, by the way, how many cars were at his house for a week driving in and out?
Out-of-state plates.
Out-of-state plates. Like, I love, by the way, and again, to pull something off like this, Brandon, if let's say it's X is doing it, You know how many layers they put in there where even if somebody gets caught, that one's covered and covered. That's how high-level assassinations happen. That's how JFK still to this day, nobody knows. You know why? Because that's how they set it up.
Yeah.
Even if you have a smoking gun, it ain't that hot.
And, I mean, just like with what we know and what we've seen, like, make the case that's impossible that this kid doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Like,
where is he?
You know what I'm saying? Like make the case why it's incorrect to say that this kid might not even exist. Like, have we seen him like in physical form?
No, you saw him on a video.
Anywhere? Yeah.
No, you saw him on a video.
And somebody was telling me some very interesting stuff about when they looked up his mother's Facebook page and her LinkedIn profile. There's like no history on people in his family, like no pictures, no career history, no tax records, no land records,
nothing.
Yeah. So it's like they're just like a fake family that was just...
Because you've never seen him. All you've seen him, right, Humberto, is just on video.
Yeah.
That's it.
So why is there no digital footprint of him or anybody in his family?
Because that's how
you have the text. You have the text
rhetorically.
messages.
Yeah, but text messages...
Those funny text messages?
Yeah, those
They're not
nobody
funny.
believes text. Hey, I'm going to do something crazy. You're not going to do something crazy, are you? That's the worst.
There's a lot of holes in the narrative about, you know, why have we never seen on video the shooter allegedly jumping off the roof holding a gun? Where was the gun? They said, oh, it was broken down and stuffed in his backpack and down the leg of his pants. Well, you can't run like that when you got a gun that long down the leg of your pants. Or it doesn't fit in the backpack. Or if it was disassembled, how did you reassemble it in the woods but the screwdriver was on the roof? There are things that don't make sense.
And the governor said that he changed outfits when he got to the roof, then changed outfits before he came off the roof.
That's impossible.
It's retarded.
Why would you say that?
There's things that don't make sense, but I will continue to stand behind what I have said on previous episodes, that you have to overlook a lot to jump to high-level Fed op type stuff. When it's clear Tyler Robinson, if he was the shooter, had help. There was a lot of people on the ground helping him pull it off. A lot of people had foreknowledge of something going on. They planned it in Reddit and Discord, which are two hotbeds for like radical leftist activism, where these people find each other and communicate and coordinate mass acts of violence.
Can we talk about the facts?
But if you're running this op real quick, like, what would you have higher confidence in? Like, him being there with a gun to draw attention once the thing happens, or him taking the actual shot? Like, if I was somebody who was running this thing and actually wanted it to be successful, I wouldn't trust him or crooks at the Trump thing in a million years to take the actual shot. 100%. I just want them there with a gun.
Yeah, so here's my thing, Brandon. This guy, 4.0 GPA, this nobody on a map, set up one of the biggest assassination attempts in the history of the country, and literally it's just him. So that means he had to have George Zinn, the guy that was at 9/11, show up, be there. He had to recruit him to stand up and do the waving and all that shit. He had to get with the school and be like, "Hey, start construction as soon as this is done, because I want everything wiped out and cleared.
Yeah.
I want the guy that's going to do the autopsy be the first time that he's ever doing." None of it. There's no way you can convince me that guy, that kid, did all this and it was pulled off to a T. And there's so many questions, and it's all going to sit on him. There's no way.
And he made it back home somehow.
Get the hell out of here. Give me and then that footage of that kid in the hallway, like, you know, that footage of the security footage. It's not even. It doesn't look like him. It doesn't look like him at all. Go ahead, say what you're saying.
No. I want to bring everything back to the facts, where we know right now.
The story, you mean?
No,
the story. They're not facts.
No. This is a fact. Like, the charges have been brought. All right, it's aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice 2 counts, witness tampering 2 counts, and commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child. All right, in order for them to consider that he had help, they need to have conspiracy charges to.
So there's no conspiracy charges.
They haven't brought up any conspiracy charges.
Yeah, weird.
Now,
well, they don't have any alleged co-conspirators at this point.
So George Zinn is just a random dude standing up.
We know from the Diddy stuff, though, that they can control the hell out of
judges.
Court.
Of course.
Like, if you put a certain prosecutor and you're like, all right, we have a friendly district attorney, we have a friendly prosecutor prosecuting this case. You can steer where it goes.
Of course.
And so far, the investigation's still open. All right, it's still open. They haven't closed the investigation, and yeah, like, basically the FBI is sticking with being a rifle, single shooter, everything that we heard before, and they're using the video where he jumps off the roof as the main proof.
Yeah, easiest case ever for a defense attorney. That's what every lawyer is saying. It's a defense attorney's dream.
But there hasn't been any official, like, all this information is gathered from the news media by FBI Director Kash Patel and secondhand sources. So there hasn't been a document by the FBI retelling the whole story yet.
Yeah, and it's an ongoing investigation, as they say. But this is a really important question that we all have to, I think, ask ourselves. What disclosure would we believe? Like, okay, if Kash Patel came out and said, we are now looking at this as evidence of a large radical activist network, Tyler Robinson was, one person involved in it. We don't know if he pulled the trigger. We are looking at now 10 other suspects who may have been present at the time of the shooting. Okay, would we believe that? Or would we immediately jump to, well, who are these 10 people patsies for? Who are they trying to frame? Who are they covering up? If he comes out and says, you know what, this was an elaborate terrorist cell from a foreign country that pulled this off to try to harm the American political system. Well, we'd immediately say, no, it wasn't. It was our own government trying to kill. So what do we believe?
What are we digging for? Don't forget what you're going to say, Connor. And I get where you're coming from. They have lost all credibility. There's besides the trust in politics and all that shit in media. Bro, nobody trusts the government. Nobody trusts the DOJ. Nobody trusts Pam Bondi. Nobody trusts Kash Patel. Dan Bongino should have quit and gone back to podcasting because he has ruined his reputation. I love the guy. I've met the guy. I've hung out with the guy. Great soul. But guess what? When you come into the room and you see shit that you don't want to see and you're like, oh, I can't be compromised, bounce. Goodbye. So there's nothing that they could do for me to trust. You lost my trust. It's like a wife that's cheated on you. Okay, now she's back. And now I'm going to believe anything else that she has to say? No, you lost all credibility. So now no matter what you do, and because everything that you said from the beginning was BS. Yeah. We know it. Like, there's no way. There's no way. Just the gun situation. The gun in the backpack. Have you seen how long a 30-06 rifle is? Even if it's collapsible, because those don't collapse, how are you going to shove it? Dude, a backpack is this big.
Yeah.
You're lying to us.
Yeah.
Why? So just shut up. Don't tell me. You know what they should have said? Hey, guys, we're not giving any information. This is who we think it is, but let's do our research and come back.
But if they'd done that, at that point, the answer would have, oh, they're clearly covering things up. Why aren't they telling us? Well, we need to know now, or else they're going to cover up all the evidence and lie to us.
When else, though, have they said we got them 3 times after something so high profile? Like, normally it's always like ongoing investigation. We're keeping things close to like tight-knit right now to keep the ongoing investigation intact and not reveal what we have. But 3 different people said, we got them.
All the same thing. But going back to Lee Harvey Oswald, the guy was at work and probably didn't even know. They were like, bro, the president's been shot. He's like, wait, what? And ran around, and that's when he realized, oh, shit, I'm the patsy. So he went to the movie theater and he's hanging out, and they all came to get him. Case closed. Jack Ruby shoots him. Bro, this is exactly that, bro. Because this is the last time it happened was JFK. Now cut to Charlie.
RFK.
And RFK. And Brandon, and it's the same. By the way, why change your tactic?
Oh, it's a great playbook.
Oh, it's an amazing thing.
All right.
MK Ultra, Patsy.
And to go back to the example you used of a wife who cheats on you. Yeah, you know what? Maybe your wife steps out on you and is unfaithful and then comes back and then says, oh, believe me. Obviously that your trust has been broken. You don't trust people who demonstrate themselves to be untrustworthy just off the bat. But that doesn't mean an untrustworthy person can't say something accurate. But the point is you don't take their word for it. You verify it based on the facts. So that is why we do not trust Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi and the entire Department of Justice because right, left, or center, we believe the government is untrustworthy and our institutions don't have credibility anymore. Nope. That is why we go back to the facts. We go back and look at what we know. And
what's a fact?
On so many of these things, there is no consensus on which to rely. Ballistics experts, on one hand, are saying, oh, a shot in the neck with a 30-06 would explode your head. There's no way that was a 30-06. And then there's other people running the same simulation saying, look, I just pulled off the shot and it had the exact same effect. Some people saying the shot was behind him. Some people saying no, it had to be from the front and it bounced off of his.
For a doctor to call him a man of steel though, because his neck bone stopped a bullet, like shit like that.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
Bullets do weird things.
But
anyone who spends enough time around firearms knows bullets.
The bullet they're claiming makes like cows explode, makes oak trees explode, like goes completely through a 14-inch oak tree. His neck bone didn't stop that.
But I look, I think not everything is lost. All right, not everything is lost. And the way they can fix this situation is to go from impact backwards, all right? Because there's a lot of people over here blaming like very complex, organizations that are in charge of the shooting and this guys and this other guys. That's useless until we know what bullet impacted his neck and what happened to the bullet.
They don't even have it, though, Humberto. They say they have a piece of the bullet. How'd you not find the bullet?
Yeah.
But so they need to start building trust from this horror, from Charlie's neck outwards. So we need to have a conclusive, and they need to work over time. So we have a conclusive proof of the ballistics, with videos, 3D models, and everything. That's where you establish trust. Because I think the government can still turn things around if they start from that place. Like, this is the bullet, this is the gun, this is what happened. Then to the trigger. This is who pulled the trigger. This is what happens.
Is their behavior consistent with discovery mode, though, with intel gathering mode? Like, their behavior doesn't seem consistent with a group who wants to know everything possible.
Brandon?
What do I know?
It seems consistent on investigating a guy they have in custody.
They destroyed the crime scene right away.
This is the CIA and the FBI. They have methods and things.
No, but they're not being consistent with their methods right now.
How do you know?
Because we don't have answers to very simple questions that we would have answers to otherwise.
How do you know? Maybe they haven't been communicating,
No, but why lie? But why lie? I want you to continue, Brandon. Why lie about the rifle in his backpack? Humberto, there's no way you, unless it was a duffel bag, do a 30-06 is this big. There's a
problem with the explanation, but it doesn't prove a lie. It just proves they've done a terrible job explaining themselves.
Well,
so they need to come out and give us an official explanation, and then based on the facts of their explanation, we determine then whether they are lying or not.
What I'm
just
saying.
Human behavior 101. Like, what's an instant red flag that somebody's lying to you? Whether it's like a kid or a girlfriend. Like, when do you start feeling like, okay, somebody's lying to me, right? Like, it's when their excuses or their facts that they're giving you aren't consistent with what reality is, and their story keeps changing in an unreasonable way.
Guys, and we're great point, and we're like, let's not forget. I hope nobody's forgetting. For the 6 months prior, they were lying through their freaking teeth about Epstein, lying about it, and saying it went from Pam Bondi saying we have tens of thousands of hours of footage and we're watching them, to no, none of it exists. To Kash Patel saying, oh, he was sex trafficking in front of Congress, all these girls to himself. What are you talking about? What about Bill Clinton? What about Bill Gates? Melinda Gates left him because of his scumbagness about that. So going back to my point is, when you've lost all that credibility, and we're screwed, Connor, because nothing they say we're going to believe. So that's on them. That's on them. We're not doing the investigation, but from what I'm seeing, you're lying to me. And my intuition, my gut, that's what a lot of people have been failing. I know everybody wants to know facts. I get it. But when I ask you, Connor, your intuition, and I get what you're saying with the bullet coming from, okay, you don't think that this guy was working alone? You don't think he was working? Okay,
certainly not. I don't think he was an intelligence asset brainwashed into taking the fall for it. I think Tyler Robinson had a whole network of people who knew about it, helped him plan it. These people all interacted with each other online. They had the same radical ideology.
Okay.
They had training that taught them how to do this. He went up onto the roof, and he had a bunch of people on the ground to help him coordinate the shot, help him cause chaos and distraction afterwards. George Zinn is an outlier. I agree. It's hard to explain how there was any connection. But if you look at what seems to be this guy's history, he just shows up and does stuff.
That's so.
This guy is not taking cues from people. This guy is just randomly throwing himself into situations.
What are the odds being at the Boston bombing, 9/11?
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. That's why every theory about this needs facts.
Here's what I see, though. What I see is, whatever the group is, there's a powerful group that our actual government is afraid to call out, that tried to take out Trump and successfully took out Kirk. I think that's the same group, because they won't touch the Trump thing. Trump isn't even afraid to talk about who went after him.
He moved on.
And then this. Like, I think it's whatever group it is.
Apparatus.
Who the hell knows? I don't even want to know anymore. I want to focus on making money now instead of questioning this shit, because nobody seems to care about it.
Nobody cares. And Connor, I agree to a certain extent with what you're saying. There's certain parts that I'll debate with you with. But when you talk about George Zinn, it wasn't as if it was just a kind of nonchalant, oh, I'm here, I might as well. The moment the gun went off, there's footage, he stands right up, is waving a handkerchief and going towards the stage. I'm telling you right now, that is a coincidence that I'm going to say out loud is completely horseshit. That son of a bitch, sorry for my language, was in on it. I don't know if it was with him. I don't know if it's with Brandon's apparatus that he's talking about. We kind of can hint towards what it is. This type of operation, bro, is so... And I have to disagree. There's no way that guy on Discord said that this is a military-style fucking hit. I'm sorry. Well, there's no way a dork on Discord, which a bunch of furries took out Charlie, and by the way, they're getting away with it scot-free, everybody else, and he's going to be the fall guy, because that's how they work.
I think what's remarkable, what's remarkable to me, though, it's not like I could see some like amateur potentially pulling off the shot. That's not the remarkable part to me. The remarkable part to me is like when the government starts acting weird and can't answer simple questions. That's what's more remarkable to me. That shows that was something more than some random network of kids.
Like, who was the last person to ask a question?
What do you mean who's the last person to ask a question?
Like, I haven't seen any like a journalist or like a reporter.
Just when these people come out and make statements, it's crazy. Like we don't even get to the question asking stage because they won't come out and do a Q&A about the thing. But when they make their actual statements that are prepared, they sound crazy.
Yeah.
Like I feel you. Like I understand this is crazy. It's nuts. All right. It is nuts, and it doesn't add up to me. I don't have any theories in it, but it doesn't add up. All right. But I'm a problem solving type of guy. You know that, Brandon. What's a procedure to have them answer questions? I don't know. Do you put a request?
Oh, good luck with that. No, there's nothing. Humberto, there's actually, Vinnie, because a journalist, nothing. Great question. One of the main people that's still talking shit, it's kind of dwindled, was Candace. And she was proving people right. When they were talking about the text and this and that, she was the only one that was like, hey, guys, my friend was shot in the freaking neck, and she's the only one that kept going. Everybody else literally, Humberto, moved on. But journalism is dead.
She's not really even asking questions about the assassination anymore. Now it's rabbit trailed off into, what was Charlie texting about beforehand? And she is saying
she's looking for motive.
She is saying herself that she is not drawing conclusions about who shot Charlie. Okay, that's what I'm interested in finding out about. I don't care what Charlie's policy positions were unless they are directly pertaining to his death. So if you're saying they're not related to who killed him, then stop asking that for now and let's go find out who shot him.
Well, she's actually, now recently...
That whole thing with the plane of, this mysterious plane, the wrong time zone, man.
Yeah.
Like, you misread the time. You got that wrong.
That's what I'm getting at, because everyone jumped the shark. I'm not going to name any names, but everyone is jumping the shark and started blaming groups, different groups, like this and that, and we still don't have an answer what happened in the ground.
What serious person has said an actual group, though?
What serious person has
said an actual group?
Depends on how you define serious person.
Like somebody who has like a serious following. I haven't heard serious people say like it was definitely this group or definitely that group.
I have. Some crazy I can show you the posts.
Yeah, I've seen crazy. Yeah, I've seen some out there people that aren't like extremely.
Like I heard Qatar, I heard this, I heard China, I heard the other thing and whatever. But like I don't understand why we're talking about that when nobody's happy with what happened on the ground. I'm
talking about because it's consistent with the behavior around Butler. Like I thought it was bizarre that Trump was not like Trump will talk for months about somebody who simply talked shit about him. Like how many times you hear him talk shit about like Adam Schiff or whoever else has talked shit about him, but he won't. Somebody who shot him in the head and he's not talking about it.
And by the way, let's be like he makes a very, very good point. The fact that the Secret Service tried to pretend, Kim Cheadle, the head that had to step down, Connor, she tried to pretend like, oh, the roof was sloped, so we didn't want to. No. It seems an average person would be like, wait a minute, you're lying.
Yeah.
Because all the security deficiencies were basically looking like it was set up for him to get his freaking head shot off live on TV.
The ridiculous Pac-Man perimeter that was a perfect circle except for that one wedge way down around where that farm was.
And he makes a very good point because think about the magnitude of that. The front runner who was probably going to win the presidency was shot in the head, and only by the grace of God that this guy turned and the sniper who was aiming for here, probably in this area, the same thing with Charlie, missed that shot. And we're all to believe that it was that dorky ass white kid with no footprint on the internet, whose apartment was cleaned out, whose father was being very, very freaking weird, and then it was a closed case, and then they shot his ass in the head, and then they swept up and sprayed the roof. And he got, bro, Trump was lucky as hell. And I believe, Brandon, that same type of group was involved with this. And this guy, from look, and show the audience his dead ass look in his eyes, that looks like a brainwashed MK Ultra guy that's just like this, that was told, get your ass up on that roof, have a gun will be up there, we're gonna throw a screwdriver, good luck. And now well, by the way, he probably has no idea what the hell is going on. That's the truth. And for anybody that thinks I'm crazy, look up MK Ultra, government, Wikipedia, Google from the 50s to the 70s, and they were doing it. It's 2025. Now they probably don't even have to brainwash you. They probably send a freaking code to your phone, and you're just like, I have to go kill.
Yeah, but if that was possible, or the guns were hidden in camera, why not use the heart attack gun? Why not use Why not use the space lasers? We're in the realm of science fiction here to try to explain something that is very obviously possible with radicalized ideology. Why would George Zinn jump up and say, hey, I'm the guy, shoot me, without any connection to this guy? It's simple. Why do radical leftists self-immolate to protest ICE? Why does a guy set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy to yelling free Palestine as his lips melt? Because these people are delusional, Vinny. These people are brainwashed into self-destructive and violent behavior against the people around them by the ideologies they embrace. This guy might be so obsessed with his trans boyfriend and hate Charlie so much, view Charlie as such a violent racist, that he's willing to throw his life away to take Charlie out of the picture. That is an extremely plausible explanation for this.
Not challenging that being the plausible part. What I'm challenging being plausible is the government's reaction to it.
And
like
these are the questions we need, and that's why it goes so pear-shaped. Actually, nobody was on the roof. It was a guy in the tunnels with the exploding lapel pins and the secret microphones behind him. And actually, when you really listen to it, there might have been up to 3 shooters who fired in the exact same millisecond, so the overlapping sound made it. Where are we right now?
People are skitzing out.
We are losing our minds. We are becoming schizophrenic because our government will not have those basic conversations.
I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to answer my own questions, all right? Because I've been around 100 people talking about this, and I guarantee you nobody that I know has followed the right channels and the right steps to get information.
Except for you.
No, I haven't done it. All right?
I thought you were saying that to say that you have.
But listen, okay?
Yeah.
You can contact the FBI Public Affairs Office. It's public.affairs@fbi.gov and get the information. You can file a Freedom of Information Act request.
Which they can reject based on national security.
It's 20 to 60 days.
But they could deny it based on national security.
A denial will speak volumes, all right?
But how about me trying to call the school and try to find out who in their right mind would start doing construction days after the biggest assassination attempt since the president in 1963? Make that make sense to me. And I get what you were saying about the radicalization and what would make Antifa and all these guys, because they're obviously brainwashed to a certain extent, but they're funded as well, Brandon.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor. These people are funded by higher up NGOs, and we know the big players' names. And I get what you're talking about the guy that took himself, like, that's mental.
Zen, you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the guy that burned himself.
The guy who burned himself outside the Israeli embassy.
That's a mental defect that you have something really going on where you're going to burn, like it's for Palestine, and you burn yourself and you commit suicide for a cause, which I think is absolutely insane. And again, going back to the George Zinn thing, you cannot tell me that the odds of him being here and doing that moment, meaning, like, think about it, Connor, you're there to watch Charlie Kirk give a speech and just be there. The second he shot, you run, and that means somebody told him to be there. Because you know what he said? Allegedly, while he was in jail or getting questioned, he goes, I'm supposed to get paid. I don't know by who, but I was supposed to get paid for what I did that day. So shit. that right there, if that's true, is a conspiracy. Conspiracy to murder, and I just don't think we're going to get
Why can't we see that footage
yeah.
from the camera behind Kirk?
Why not?
They grabbed
because the guy jumped on the evidence. By the way, nobody secured the scene. That's horse shit.
But with the camera behind him, and we've got to wrap this up, so I'll make this one of the last points we discuss. The camera angles behind him, if you look at other Turning Point events, the camera set up behind Charlie doesn't show Charlie. It's to show audience reactions and the people, specifically the microphones for his Q&A sections. So that footage probably doesn't even show him.
But here's the thing, though. There's probably how many different camera angles? Like, we probably saw a couple dozen camera angles, but there's probably thousands of camera angles out there with everybody who's recording, every news station that was there, every turning point camera. So, like, why haven't we seen every camera angle? Like, did they confiscate cameras? Because, you're telling me that somebody out there didn't capture a different angle that might have shown something?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like we've seen far
that has to exist somewhere. So, yes, these are all the legitimate questions we have to ask. I'm not saying it's illegitimate to investigate this or try to ask why the government is not being forthright about
quite
this.
Honestly, this is something that I'd be afraid to investigate, because it's like, if Trump's not there to kind of back you up in the situation, and a lot of the normal people that you would expect to do, then, like, who the hell is there? Like, who would want to go out on a limb and ask these questions if Kirk gets whacked for it, everybody loves him, and nobody's standing up for him in, like, the ways that matter? But yeah, people are doing the symbolic things, like giving him awards and honoring him and stuff, but they're not asking the questions of who actually did it.
Within the solutions is writing your congressperson so they can start an investigation.
Oh, does that works out great with, like, the simplest of things.
You can call Rick Scott.
Even
the
if
phone
you
number is right
even
here.
even if your sewer drains flood too quickly, that they won't resolve that. You think they're going to help you with this thing?
Brandon, I'm trying to believe in this country and its institutions. All right, like this is the list.
Well, you're that very, very, very,
I'm trying.
very small percentage that, listen to these words, trust the government, trust the Department of Justice.
I don't trust it.
I haven't trusted them since just look at 2016 with Trump, with the FBI, with all, dude, they were all colluding. James Comey and all these people, Andy McCabe, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, they were all literally 50,000 text messages. We have to get an insurance policy. Bro, these people haven't gone away. And here's the sad part, guys. They're never going to get the credibility back. It's over. It's over. So you can sit there, we can scream till we're blue in the face. I have to just go, bro, God's the accountability factor. You're not going to get what you want here. Zero. If you think we're ever going to get the answer of who killed Charlie, who actually killed him, and who was behind it, you're delusional. It'll never happen.
You want to factor wrap it all together?
Yeah.
Guess who established the Presidential Medal of Honor?
Who established it?
Yeah, who was the first one to give it out?
Who?
Lyndon B. Johnson.
John F. Kennedy.
Really?
Well, there you go.
What are the odds?
And that makes perfect sense.
All right.
But on that note, Vinny, speaking of God, I want to circle back to Charlie Kirk's memorial for a moment, where Donald Trump got up and, as part of his elaborate speech, I'm honestly reluctant to call it a eulogy. It wasn't quite a eulogy, because his whole memorial essentially turned into an impromptu RNC.
Yeah, it really was. Fireworks.
You had fireworks and all the politicians
register to vote booths.
Yeah. But geo-tracking a phone.
And honestly, that's probably how Charlie would have wanted to be remembered anyway. That's what he dedicated his life to. But while Donald Trump was on stage, he said, in part, while Charlie has been reunited with his creator in heaven, his voice on earth will echo through generations. Very good statement. You know, it was a lot of faith-oriented stuff about how Charlie believed in God. He had a relationship with Jesus. He's now in heaven. But where will Donald Trump go when he dies? This has been apparently a big question for a lot of people, including Trump himself recently. So let's address the question, is Donald Trump bound for heaven? So while en route to Israel following a U.S. brokered ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, President Donald Trump joked with reporters aboard Air Force One that he didn't think he was, quote, heaven-bound. Responding to a question from Fox News' Peter Doocy about whether the ceasefire might improve his chances of getting into heaven, Trump laughed and said, "I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me into heaven. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to make it to heaven, but I've made life better for a lot of people." And this is actually the second time he said this. He remarked something similar while he was meeting with Vladimir Putin a couple weeks ago to try to negotiate an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, saying, you know, if ending this war doesn't get me into heaven, I don't know what will. Let's take a look at what Trump told reporters on Air Force One while he was discussing the possible eternal fate of his immortal soul.
Being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven, but I've made life a lot better for a lot of people. And, you know, as an example, had the election of 2020 not been rigged, you would have millions of people living just in Russia, Ukraine alone. That would have never happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years. and I knew Putin very well. It was the apple of his eye. That all the things I've said would have never happened. We had an incompetent administration. We had an incompetent president. And because of a crooked election, millions of people are dead. And by the way, the Israeli thing was much harder to get settled because of the past administration.
So there's President Trump saying, despite all his great foreign policy accomplishments, including most recently the ceasefire in Gaza, he's not sure where his soul is going. So, Vinnie, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, from me and Humberto, I've had long conversations about this. I mean, Trump, it's no secret, he's never been a religious person. I would hope that he'd be a little bit more leaning on the Christianity thing, especially after he got shot in his head. And I'm pretty sure he had a moment where he's like, oh my God, I'm pretty sure. Because no matter what you are, bro, atheist, Muslim, whatever, when you get shot, what's the first thing you say? Oh my God. Oh my God. Something bad happens, people always mention the creator, even though if they don't believe in it. I don't know, man. I know that some people were saying that he was like kind of playing games with it and he always tries to be funny. But I think that's a telling, like low key, that's a telling thing for him to say is like, there's nothing that I can do to get into heaven. Meaning, if you're going to just say it, in layman's terms, what have you done? What have you done in your past that you don't think, especially with all the peace stuff, that you're going to get into heaven? And that going back to that conversation that we had with Adam on the podcast about, you think that you could be a murderer, you could be an X, Y, and Z, and you mean to tell me God, Jesus is going to forgive you at the end? And I said, and it's hard to explain to this guy. I go, Adam, if you truly in your heart of hearts believe it, I go, I don't know what your soul is. I don't know your secrets. I don't know what's going through your brain right now in your mind or your heart. God does. At the end, Jesus Christ, God's going to know exactly who you are and if you're really, really truthful. This to me is a little bit off because he didn't have no time to think. It was just like, no, I don't think there's anything that I could do to get into heaven. He's like, yeah, but look at all the peace stuff that I'm doing. But I just hope somebody like that has a moment, like a coming to Christ moment, because at the end of the day, I hope everybody knows this. You're all going to go. We're all going to go, and you are going to be judged. And I just hope, for his sake, he's right with God.
Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, my default position would be that I would have thought that he would go to heaven. I mean, and it's strange and sad that he doesn't seem to put a lot of weight into caring whether or not he goes. Because like for somebody to say it like that would mean that they don't really put a lot of thought or care into it, to not think it's that big of a deal. But I mean, it would definitely suck to go to hell versus heaven, for eternity. So. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I do think that he's done a lot more than the average person. I think really like what determines if you go to heaven or hell is like how much you've done for the world in terms of impact and how free your mind is in terms of like not being controlled by like forces that are trying to control you. Like, he's a guy who's like created jobs, he's built buildings, developed cities, he's making things happen for the world. Like I think he's really holding back what he could do a lot of the time. But yeah, I think overall he's made a dent in the universe, and I think that's really like the best type of people is the people who have made a dent in the universe and made something out of their lives rather than just being a random, unimportant person.
And Humberto, my based Catholic friend, your thoughts?
All right. I mean, first sign that is positive is that he's thinking about it. He's thinking about his soul. He's thinking about this and that. Now, humans, we can just judge actions as evil or good, but we can never tell where someone's soul is going to go. Mm-hmm. Like only God will judge. There's multiple passages in the Bible that the ultimate judgment is God.
Period.
Now, at the same time, him judging his soul himself, like this is weird. Him judging his soul himself and thinking he's not gonna make it to heaven, slightly sinful because he's judging his own soul. You shouldn't judge.
That's a rule too.
Someone else's soul or your own soul. And then you have the only.
But the priests or pastors. Sorry, pastors do that all the time, though.
I don't know anything about pastors. I only listen to priests.
Well, priests and pastors, don't they say if you...
They do not.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, priests
I've heard pastors say, remember, tell your friends to come to church or they're going to be bound to hell.
Pastor could be any guy that has 5 guys like together in a kitchen.
Or lesbian. I've seen some lesbian pastors.
Have you heard them say that before,
No,
Vinnie? At Protestant churches?
Priests,
for sure.
Priests, they have like 8 to 10 years of training with a professional career.
I know you love your priests.
It's very different. But you can be a pastor, Brandon. If you want to be a pastor, you can be a pastor. pastor. You can be ordained online, you know.
Right, but I mean, like the fact that that's their belief. I had an ex that was a Protestant that told me like, oh, if you don't accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior definitively, you're going to go to hell. I'm like, don't fucking tell me I'm going to go to hell, lady.
Just Christianity. That's on her. So, all right.
No, that's the fundamental Christian doctrine, though.
But like that means that all of you, like all Christians, are sinning at once if they think that.
No, you don't judge. I mean, God will.
But by saying if you don't accept Christ, then you're going to hell, that's judging.
That is not judging.
Yeah, how's it not judging? That's making a statement.
What do you mean?
If you don't step out of the road, you're going to get hit by a bus. Is also a judgment call by that definition. But you still want people to step out of the road so they don't get hit by a bus. You're just not supposed to hold them at gunpoint to make them leave.
You're making a judgment they're going to die if they stand in the middle of the road.
If they know, and this has been before, you know, Protestants were a thing, like people were wondering, and before the internet was a thing, people were wondering what happens if a guy in the Sentinel Island that never heard about Jesus Christ, is he saved or not saved? All right, there's been a really deep theological arguments that if someone never had the chance to know about Jesus Christ, he'll be judged by God on his actions. All right.
Yeah.
Us Christians, our job is not to judge. Our job actually is to hope for everyone's soul to be saved. That's our job. That's our job, not to judge anybody. You can spit, you know, some wisdom from.
You can give them advice. You can't
give them
judge
advice. It's very black and white. Like salvation is only through our Lord Jesus Christ. That's the only way.
The point is also not to not have judgment. It's to use God's judgment rather than your own.
Yeah.
Because the most common passage that gets thrown at Christians of all denominations anytime they say something that transgresses liberal orthodoxy is, well, didn't Jesus say not to judge? Yeah, he did say not to judge. He says, judge not lest you be judged, for by the same measure with which you judge, you will be judged. Meaning, yeah, don't judge people by arbitrary standards or you will be judged by those arbitrary standards. Mm-hmm. Instead, use God's universal absolute standards of what is correct and what is not, because then you'll be judged by the same thing. So you know what? This is actually an interesting thing with Trump. Two firsts in this whole interaction he's having. First time I've ever heard a president talk about the condition of his own soul. Never heard a president do that before. It's also the first time I've ever heard somebody talk about believing in heaven and then not see themselves going there.
Yeah.
Either people don't believe in heaven and they believe when you die nothing happens, or they do believe in heaven and they believe that whatever they believe in gets them there. Because who says, yeah, heaven is real, I'm definitely not going there? That's kind of insane to me. But you know what? Trump is right. None of the things he has ever done in his entire life qualify him to go to heaven. Donald Trump deserves to go to hell. And you know what? So do you, Humberto. So do you, Vinnie. So do I. So do you, Brandon. So does everyone watching at home. So does everybody in the back.
Wow.
But praise be to God that there's an option through Jesus Christ that has nothing to do with our actions.
Amen.
No action we take in life is what qualifies us to go to heaven. That's why the grace of salvation has to be offered in the first place, because you can't earn it. If it was up to action, there would be no possible way to achieve it. So it's not up to action.
I mean,
Great point.
I disagree because Catholic doctrine is different than, you know, Protestant doctrine, because we believe in the word and the acts. All right.
Yes.
We have very specific ceremonies like receiving the body of Christ, getting baptized once at birth, being married, and there's a bunch of things that we need to do in life to like prepare ourselves. But people that are guaranteed heaven in the Catholic tradition, they're called saints. All right. And they're qualified by extraordinary deeds on earth and miracles. That's how they get judged. They people like propose, you know, people that will become saints, and then they need to gather a bunch of information to see if their miracles are sound. At the same time, the only thing, and I'm hoping for Donald Trump's soul to be in heaven, you know, reunited with Jesus Christ and our Creator. I just hope it doesn't harden his heart, because that's the one thing, you know, like the hardness of the heart is the only unforgivable sin. So I hope he's playing around with the idea. I hope he's bringing it up, evaluating. I hope what he said, it was out of prudence. You know, like I think I would have been more mad if he goes like,
"There's no heaven."
No. If he goes like, after this, what I did in the Middle East, I'm going straight to heaven.
That would have been
Jesus
bad.
has a chair waiting for me. You know what I mean? Because he did something amazing. All right, he did save a lot of lives.
Well, he's just on paper, 20 right there. But would you have respected him more if he was like this? Heaven, it's not real anyway, and he just changed the subject.
Yeah,
because I mean that's what he. Because I don't think he like. Yeah, he talked. You made a great point. Like he's acknowledging it, but if he's not a real Christian, he doesn't believe in heaven.
It's just a weird thing to hear him say, but also, like Humberto, I hope that Donald Trump, like everyone else, finds Christ and gets salvation and goes to heaven. So my point is,
hope I pray for it.
It raises a concern for me that when you see who Donald Trump associates with, who that are faith leaders, when Donald Trump wants to be around Christian leadership, who does he talk to? Guys like, or people like Kenneth Copeland and Joyce Myers, who are like legitimate heretics. So people like that are the only source of faith leadership Donald Trump seems to have around him.
If you could pick somebody, Connor, besides anybody here, who would you have sit down with? If Donald Trump was to give somebody 1 hour, a theologian, biblical scholar, somebody that you respect and that somebody that you know knows the word and would know how to speak to him, who would you have sit with him just for 1 hour? No podcast, no nothing, just a sit-down conversation with Donald Trump to try to make him see the light.
I mean, we've recently lost some of the greatest ones. Vodi Bakum, who just died, I think like 2-3 weeks ago, was an amazing theologian. John MacArthur, who was out in California, amazing theologian and defender of the faith. And obviously, Humberto would have a different answer being Catholic.
Yeah.
But it's the same fundamental hope of we want to see the president come to legitimate faith and lead the country accordingly.
Well, that's why I would want. You showed me a great clip about Vivek.
Oh,
maybe you might have to show it to him. You might have to send it to him. But say what you were going to say, Humberto. Who would you have him talk to?
I'll have him talk to Father Mike Smith. He puts Christianity in very simple terms. It's very it's very easy to apply. I wouldn't take him up to like big Catholic leadership because then the power plays come into play. Like if I said Donald Trump with the Pope, there's going to be more of a power move, like statement to statement.
Well, also, if my understanding of how the Catholic Church is structured is correct, the Pope's primary purpose is not evangelism anyway.
No.
So the Pope isn't charged with the business of making converts in his conversations.
He's supposed to touch ice,
he's
bricks
a
of
leader.
ice.
Yeah.
Real quick, so like just the three of you guys, because I mean I heard something interesting on this lately. What's like your benchmark for getting into heaven?
There's no.
I mean, like, what's what qualifies somebody to go into heaven?
I think it's once you accept, because right at the end of the day, bro, like, and a lot of people, I've had this conversation a lot. It's undeniable that Jesus Christ was here. It's up to you to actually accept and believe and have faith that all the miracles, everything that he did, raising people from the dead, giving sight to the blind, he did this all, prophesized it, said he was going to die, and said he was going to come back. He is the Son of God. Like, he is in the Trinity, he's God. So that once you accept that, that's step number one, then what you do and how you live your life, Brandon, it can't be of the flesh. You have to actually have to live for Christ. And by the way, it's an amazing life if you actually believe it and you go all in. I don't think there's like a moment where you're like, oh, well, because you're gonna be judged. You're gonna stand in front of God and you're gonna be judged. And I think he knows your soul. I don't think there's like this one you forgot or you didn't do this, because we're all gonna forget. We're imperfect. That's why he came here to die for us. But I think there's gonna be a moment where, have you ever seen the movie Defending Your Life? Have you ever seen that with Albert Brooks? You're gonna be put on trial. And it's gonna be like, hey, listen, this is your life. This is everything that you did. And are you sorry? Do you believe me? Do you? And then you go, because there's no way that this is all nothing.
But in the simple benchmark that defines Christianity or not Christianity is, do you accept Christ as the living embodiment of God who sacrificed himself for your sins, rose from the dead, and is now in heaven as co-equal with God? That is the core of Christianity. You have to believe that, and if you believe something other than that, you're not a Christian. And this is what Humberto and I will differ slightly on as Protestant and Catholic, but it's the same. We're talking about the same formula of what salvation is. according to the Catholic doctrine, Humberto, forgive me if I'm not representing this correctly, it is faith plus good works equals salvation.
Yeah.
When you have faith in Christ and you do good works, it produces salvation. On the Protestant side, what we would argue is you receive salvation, and out of that salvation grows faith and good works. So your faith has to be legitimate, because if you receive salvation and do nothing with it, you do no good works, then you're clearly not legitimately saved. You're not actually converted. But the simple benchmark of what determines who goes to heaven and who doesn't is who puts their faith in Christ. That is the only line that is drawn anywhere on that. It's not about working to earn your way up. In no matter what works you do outside of Christ, it is not salvation. That is the core of Christian philosophy, and you can disagree with it. There can be all sorts of interpretations on what I just said. There can be all sorts of disagreements with it, but that is the core of Christian philosophy.
It's just a vibe thing.
No, but it's not a vibe thing.
No, it's just like a matter of what feels right to you intuitively. And
it's more than that. Like it's good conscience. Like, for example, I 100% agree that, believing in Jesus Christ, wholeheartedly.
You have to believe that he is who he says he was.
And you can just murder people.
No, because if you continue to murder people after you claim you've accepted Christ, then it's not legitimate faith, because legitimate faith.
You can't do both at once?
No. That's the second layer that Catholics have on top, is that you have to die in God's grace. All right? So you need to be repented of all your mortal sins. All right? And what's a mortal sin?
It's a lot of things.
No, but it's a sin you do in conscious. Like, you consciously do something to offend God, and you don't ask for his forgiveness. So by the end
there's
of the
a wide array of those things, though.
There's a wide array, but you need to be conscious. Like, oh my God, I'm
jealous right now. I sinned.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or you're coveting. Like, think about the 10
jealousy
the 10 commandments.
isn't one of those mortal sins. But
like, think about it, Brandon. Like, you're watching porn, and by the way, oh man, when you're done, you're like, God, I just wish. You know it's wrong, but you constantly keep doing it. Like, for instance, people that are out there scamming people, you're stealing, you're banging somebody's wife. You keep doing that, you gave yourself to Christ. Like I believe in Jesus Christ. I know he's my Lord and Savior. You're going to keep doing the stuff knowing it's wrong, knowing that the voice in your head, which isn't your voice, that's God. Bro, I tell people this all the time. You're in your own audible. When Brandon's sitting there not saying anything, you're like, hey, what do I have to, should I do that? Should I not do all those thoughts, you're hearing it in your voice. It's not your voice.
Right.
It's just coming through you. If you consciously are making the decision to keep sinning, Brandon, he knows, like, you have to make a decision, bro. That's the battle. I'm such a fallen, like, I'm so broken, bro. I sin all the time. I'm in church. And I'm like, don't look at, knowing she's hot. And I'm being that serious.
Is that a sin?
Yeah, of course. Like, trying to lust at a girl in church.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's a struggle.
But there's a difference, to clarify for you, Brandon, difference between being distracted by an attractive woman and then continuing to look once you're consciously aware of it and thinking those thoughts and not correcting yourself.
Knowing, like, bro, like, for instance, Brandon, stealing. You, like, for instance, seeing somebody that has money that just like, it's sitting right in the chair, you know it's theirs, and you're making a debate in your head going, well, listen, they're already gone. They're like, let me just go and take it. Knowing that you're doing that, Brandon, and these people keep doing it, you're sinning. Like, you're like making a mistake in the moment, like doing something or cussing, like cussing out loud, or doing something dumb, lying about something that's so stupid.
It's that simple. Like, if you live a life of lies, like, your whole life is based on lies. All right.
Move it for the greater good.
But you can come to God.
And that there is a doctrinal application for
telling things for white lies.
It's not white lies. It's a concept called noble lies. But that's a much more.
But for example, if I didn't want to hang out with you and Vinnie, and I lied to you, and then you message me like, hey, we really miss you, I will feel bad about it, and then I will go next time. I'll be like, oh, Jesus, these people really like me, and they're my friends, and I lied to them. All right, that will get me into heaven. You know what I mean? Like, if you murdered a guy, Jesus forgave a murderer
on the cross.
On the cross, all right. So putting like humanly attributes to the grace of God and how powerful and mighty He is, and having your human perception on how much you can forget, like, is limiting like the powers of God. And I hope Donald Trump, going full circle, that he allows himself to be saved, because I think overall he's been a tremendous influence in this planet. And what he said, that if he didn't get the election stolen and he was there, I don't think Russia would have happened. And that's, you know how many souls there is? That is, I don't know how many people have
Probably
died.
close to a mill.
Close to 1 million souls left this earth too early. Like, can you imagine that? All right. So he's thinking deeper, and I will pray harder this Sunday for Donald Trump to find.
As president, for example, is it possible, like with those guidelines, is it possible to make it to heaven? Because like sometimes you do have to like push a button and blow up a terrorist network of like 30 people.
This is why
that okay?
Christian leaders should abide by things like just war theory, where the warfare you conduct is in proportionate response to the provocation that was done to your nation, and also not targeting innocent people. Christians have a clear-cut case for implementing the death penalty. It's all throughout Scripture, both Old and New Testament, that government officials in proper order in accordance with righteous law should execute people who commit murder, for example.
Okay.
There is nothing about the office of president that would be limited, or that would, you wouldn't be able to discharge your office effectively if you were a Christian, which is why so many of our founders and early leaders were devout Christians. And I know there's been, a great deal of attempt to, explain that away and downplay the faith of the founders.
Oh,
but
that's their
it's
favorite pastime.
It's pretty obvious. But the office of president, I would argue, especially in the United States as it's structured, is discharged more effectively when you have a devout Christian in the office compared to anything else. The closest we've gotten to that in generations has been nominal lapsed Catholics. Joe Biden could not receive communion at half the Catholic churches he went into because his stances on things like abortion were in violation of church doctrine. And yet everyone was okay with that and acted like he was some sort of man of faith anytime he talked about God.
But Raphael and Brandon, I hate when people talk about the West. I live in Christendom, all right? Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Most things that make sense naturally to you, that you were brought up in Christendom, they're the correct things. Things that don't make sense, they're incorrect, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so to round that out, like Humberto was saying, we hope that wherever Donald Trump's soul is currently, whatever thoughts he's thinking, he seeks out people who can give him legitimate guidance, and that his soul does go to heaven. Not because of the works he's done, but because of where he puts his faith. But on that note, we'll transition over. Speaking of things that Turning Point has been up to recently.
Whoa.
Because Turning Point USA, even as they mourn the death of their founder, Charlie Kirk, the murder of their founder, they are still about the business of trying to push back against insane woke stuff. Maybe they're doing a good job, maybe they're not. There's been some debate over that in the last few weeks. But their new big thing is that they are counter-programming the Super Bowl this February, particularly the Super Bowl halftime show, because Turning Point USA says it will stage a rival All-American halftime show opposite the NFL's Super Bowl halftime performance on February 8th at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. The move follows days of conservative backlash to the NFL's choice of Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny as the official Apple Music halftime show headliner. Critics seized on the artist's mostly Spanish-language catalog and his October 4th quip on SNL that said you have to learn Spanish if you want to understand my Super Bowl performance, as well as his past remarks about how he's skipping U.S. tour dates over concerns about possible ICE presence. Bad Bunny, an American citizen born in Puerto Rico, is expected to perform primarily in Spanish at the game. So Turning Point has announced that they are going to have their own show.
Is it Creed? If not, I don't care.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to to. That if it's anybody other than Creed,
I'm sorry.
It must be Creed and no one else. Because we're going to listen to Kid Rock. Sorry,
no,
close.
Give us Creed
or give us nothing.
Nothing. I want Creed. I just want just one
Creed. That's all I want to hear. I play it over and over.
Over and over.
Yeah,
that's
just
all I
loop
need.
it for
if they get up and play one last breath,
that's it.
America will heal in a way that we didn't know was possible.
I need Creed, wings, Apache helicopters, American flags going around.
That's it.
That's all I need.
Look at this freaking
So
demon.
this is some of the reason they object to the inclusion of Bad Bunny, his frequent dressing in drag and other things like this, but also primarily it's his stance on ICE and immigration, where he is saying that, you know, he doesn't want to do shows in the United States because ICE is going to show up at his concerts, which is weird because, like I said, as a Puerto Rican, he's an American citizen. So, but it is like an odd stance to take. But you know what? More power to him, I guess. There have been a lot worse people who have done the Super Bowl halftime shows. So it's nice that Turning Point is doing this. I would argue it's perhaps a bit performative, but it's certainly not because they're mad a Puerto Rican is performing. They're mad that a guy who is anti-ICE, pro-dressing in drag is the one performing.
Can I do a quick timeline of this? Like, first of all, this is all your guys' fault. All right.
Why?
Who's you guys?
When, like, American culture in general, when this guy was
it's Justin Timberlake's fault.
Well, when this guy was in the island, I used to love this guy. All right.
Yep.
Like, anywhere from 2015 to 2018, he had the hardest songs, just banger after bangers about chicks with big booties and guns and fast cars.
That's it.
And everything that we like. All right. He came here and he got ruined by dating Kendall Jenner.
That was it. Everybody gets ruined with that family,
was
bro.
like everything that the Kardashians touch: basketball careers, reggaeton singers, makeup,
Kanye, Bruce Jenner, Olympic
Vinnie.
Trannied their dad. They trannied their dad.
Calabasas used to be a very nice neighborhood away from all the madness.
Calabasas was the best.
It was the best. All right. So everything that the Kardashians touch
goes to shit.
It gets ruined.
Yeah,
all right.
You're right.
So this is all. I mean, this is what you get. All right. This is what you get. I used to, man. Like, how many chicks, all right?
Chicks.
Like, I will walk up in the club, you know, all over Latin America, and just Bad Bunny and chicks, all right?
I know,
Heck of a thing to follow up a segment about faith and salvation with there, Humberto.
But the thing is, now he turned all woke and dressing like a lady. What are we doing here? And the other thing is this, as a Hispanic, never Latino. I take it as offense.
I'll never say it ever again.
It's Latinx, sir.
Well,
yeah,
he's Latinx, and you're saying a Hispanic, because I'm Hispanic. And the other thing, I have a bone to pick right here. Like, sorry, Mr. Trump, this is the first time I'm going to post his views. He gave Columbus Day to the Italians, but let me tell you, all right? Like, 99% of the crew was Spanish. They were flying the Castilian flag. It was paid by the Spanish crown, and then all the territory that they took, it was Spanish. All right. So learn your history.
Who led the mission though?
In this house, Christopher Columbus is an Italian hero. You hear me?
He's the only guy. He was the only guy that was crazy enough. And if you read about history,
who won the Super Bowl for the Patriots when they were great? Was it Tom Brady or was it the rest of the team? It was Tom Brady.
No, but
just like Columbia's.
Listen to me.
Columbia's, I like that. Columbia's University.
Yeah. But listen to me, Brandon. You know why it happened like that? Because back in his homeland of Italy, first they were broke as a joke because Italian can't handle money. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They can't handle money.
No.
All right? They were broke as a joke. So they go to the rich auntie, you know, in Spain. They're like, lady, we need to go somewhere else.
Well, because they had like silver and gold mines that they just stumbled upon. That wasn't it because of any like merit or success.
Well,
they're still riding high from driving the Muslims back out of Spain, and that's a victory.
I need to set the record straight. The amount of hatred from the English and the amount of hatred from the French and the bad mouthing of the Spanish Empire, that was the biggest empire in the history of the world, the biggest. All right, the Roman Empire as its biggest height, like the biggest god, it wasn't even half the size of the Spanish Empire. All right,
well, okay, hold on.
Space.
My WASP ancestors are screaming at me from beyond time and space. How is that bigger than the British Empire?
Right,
way bigger.
No, it's not. The sun never set. The sun never set in the British Empire.
Pull up a map. See what empire was
Australia, Canada.
Is it by total square mileage of land?
Yes.
Okay.
And riches.
Right, Australia, Canada,
at that
India.
point, neither one of them holds a candle to the Mongols.
Well, the Mongols is like all of Russia.
Yeah, the
Eurasia.
Mongols had the biggest contiguous landmass empire in history.
Now you're getting contiguous.
No, I think it was UK though, because
this guy is the worst.
No, it was definitely UK. UK was Canada, Australia, India, some of Africa. Google in lifetime. Just do who's got you?
The largest empire in history is the British Empire, which at its height covered approximately 13.7 million square miles, accounting for about 24% of the world's landmass. The Mongol Empire follows the largest contiguous land empire, spanning about 9.3 million square miles.
Two.
Let's see. How large was...
This is what it sounds like to be wrong.
I'm not wrong.
They're not even in the top 3.
This is English bias.
It's a duck, duck, go.
All right. They've been
Were they number 4?
The Spanish Empire
at the height of its
really hard.
the late 18th century, the Spanish Empire covered approximately 5.3 million square miles, making it one of the largest empires in history.
Damn.
Spanned parts of the Americas, Europe, and territories. But yeah, eclipsed by the British and the Mongols.
How about population and riches?
Right,
Are you
Now you're getting
just
technical.
desperate for solving numbers here? Look, no disrespect to Spain. I love Spain. I think their history is fascinating.
I don't like Spain. I like the Spanish Empire.
Well, America conquered it, by the way.
The Reconquista is awesome.
Yeah.
What do you mean they conquered
We
it?
took California.
It was sold.
That was
It
from
was so-
Mexico.
It was
Which is part of the Spanish
Yeah,
Empire.
exactly.
but it was a transaction. All right.
No, we took California because we bought Louisiana.
Louisiana Purchase?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Biggest bargain of all time. 13 mil for the entire middle of the country.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Whoever's there, can you type it, like, do Louisiana Purchase in this images? Yeah.
Louisiana Purchase for 13 million.
You know why? Because he didn't want to take a loan from the Rothschilds.
Wow.
So Napoleon sold this to America.
Respect.
It was a mix of military conquest and purchase.
Look at that green right there.
$13 million, bro.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Letitia James freaking
Yeah, real estate deal.
real estate
Yeah.
deal, bro.
That's some old money right there.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
so
the
Mexican-
Louisiana Purchase. How about
Mexican
just
secession? That's where we got California, Nevada, and Utah. We took that from Mexico, which was still Spain
Well,
at that point.
Was it Spain
Yes,
at the
we
time?
conquered
I
Spanish
love how this
Empire.
started with Bad Bunny. Now we're talking about the Louisiana
We'll get back
Purchase.
to it. You know,
Yeah.
we're like
Do the
the,
weave. Yeah, the weave.
we're the Tucker Carlson Vladimir Putin interview.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Hold on, I'm getting to
Yeah, let me get. So yeah, can you show that clip of that? By the way, this
Yes.
is the one thing that bothers me about this Bad Bunny. I don't give a damn. By the way, and again, guys, I'm 46 years old. I don't listen to this freaking crap. I listen to also reggaeton. You know what I listen to. I listen to Daddy Yankee. Awesome guy, changed his life.
Tremendous.
Amazing.
I grew up with Latin neighbors, so for my whole childhood, I heard way more Spanish music than I ever had any inclination to listen to, and I've gone out of my way to never listen to it again.
Spanish accent at some point. He knows 3 words, but he
But
sounds
he knows how
very
to say it with the right ra.
Yeah.
So I listen to reggaeton. I don't listen. I mean, I've heard his songs before, but you go up on SNL. They're getting you ready for the Super Bowl. Then you're talking all this stuff. You're telling everybody to learn. I know he's being funny.
Do you want to play that?
Yeah, play
clip?
this part.
So we can. Here is
That looks like me in costume. Looks like me if I'm playing.
if one of us was to do like a really anti-Hispanic costume that would be called racist, it would be dressed like Bad
All
Bunny.
right, go. Guess what? Funny, poking fun.
And look,
I get it.
not for nothing, but I understood all of that thanks to Duolingo.
Oh,
See,
wow.
you're guess what? I know what he said as well, but for the average American, especially when you're taking something as a Super Bowl, it's gonna be all in Spanish. Okay, I respect the funny part of it, but now it's the Yankees playoff game, all right? And God Bless America is being played. And guess what you're supposed to do as an
Stand
American? Get your ass up, take off your hat, show some respect because the national anthem is coming afterwards. What does he do over here, Connor? That's Bad Bunny. His ass is seated. Wow. Seated on purpose. He knows what he's doing. Even another prick right there that's sitting, unless you're in a wheelchair, I can't tell, I'm sorry. If you're in a wheelchair or you can't stand, I get it. But look at you. Yeah, the guy next to you is standing. Yeah, sit there and shake your head. That's the type of shit I don't like.
So
that right there is, you're doing that on purpose, so guess what? You're going to get the backlash you're going to get, and you deserve it.
So let me ask this. I'm curious because I've never really gotten a clear answer on this. Is there an obligation to stand for God Bless America?
Yeah, respect.
No, I get the respect thing, and I get obviously if everyone's standing, but it's not the national anthem. So is staying seated for God Bless America different than staying seated for the national anthem because it's being treated like the same thing? And I get way back to the days of Colin Kaepernick and of kneeling during the anthem and starting that whole thing, not because he was trying to make a statement, because he was mad he got benched because he was a terrible football.
Well,
player.
you're not obligated, but it's tradition, it's respect,
tradition.
it's
Okay.
patriotism.
Customary.
Okay, so
It's a customary. But,
So
but
yes,
if you
that-
know, but if you're purposely doing, bro, if you're sitting and everybody around you is standing, you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're being you're doing it on purpose. You after what you just went up there and you're telling Americans you got to learn how to speak. Okay,
you sound like Adam talking about all his
get
friends
your
in
ass
Miami.
up, stand up. To the now you're gonna get it. By the way, he doesn't give a damn. He's worth $100 million. Who gives a damn? But guess what? Who gives a damn? Americans, bro. That's it. Just don't. That's just being a prick. You think I want to stand and sit and do it? No, but you know what? It's customary. You're at a freaking game. Everybody's showing respect. The song is "God Bless America." We're asking God, bless America. Stand your ass up. That's it.
I totally get that. And obviously, when everybody's standing, but you see people are standing, hands over hearts. Like, that's what you do for the anthem.
Yes.
I have
And
never.
Pledge Allegiance.
And Pledge of Allegiance, because those are like actual sacred things to the country. The same reason you're supposed to respect the flag and all that. But
You know,
for God Bless America, if it's just a tradition thing,
well,
I want to make sure it's not just a crazy
well,
performative
guess what?
thing.
Even the national anthem, that's all volunteer, bro. Nobody forces you.
No, of course
to even,
not,
even,
but-
even for that song, even for the national anthem, you're not going to get a ticket. You're not going to get in trouble. But this is what America, we have traditions. And guess what? If you don't like it, then go F yourself. You're going to get backlash. Period.
Man,
it's America.
This makes me so mad. Like it's just common sense of not being an asshole.
That's
Like,
it. That's exactly it. But he is.
This
Being a prick.
weekend, my dad gets back. All right, he's throwing his birthday party in his garden and everything.
Nice.
He's setting up an American flag in the
Good.
back. You know what I mean? So we're sitting there, just hanging from the thing. You know,
A bunch of men. Like Americans.
making sure the flag doesn't touch the ground, reading the flag code, like how we should put it on the house and everything.
Building.
which is
You
extremely
know?
important, because I think we need to follow this out
And
to
then
its
this
logical
guy can't
conclusion.
stand up. Like I don't understand.
He's being a prick.
Follow it out to the logical conclusion, because like flag code is important, and
is
almost
important.
nobody abides by it. Like if you have an American flag flying unlit at your house at night, violation of the flag code. You want no real
Connor,
shock that I just realized today?
We installed a special
Yeah.
light for the flag.
Check this
all
out.
right?
Yeah.
But according to U.S. flag code, when the American flag is displayed on a flagpole next to another flag, it must always be on the viewer's left. The flag's right, the viewer's left. You want to know where there is a glaringly obvious
And it needs
violation
to be
of
higher than the other
Want to know where
flag.
there's a very glaringly obvious violation of U.S. flag code?
Where the
Right there.
Oh wow.
That should actually be reversed.
Thanks, Connor.
Set design guys.
right,
Next time,
producer.
let's flip them.
You know what? I'm leaving.
But that's what I'm saying. Let's play it out to its conclusion.
All right.
We need to stand by these things. And technically, American flag T-shirts, American flag hats, those are also
But you guys,
violations of flag code.
You guys don't understand how criminal that island is. I'm sorry, I have to say it.
Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it's criminal. And the music is music. The reggaeton is music made by criminals for criminals. I do partake sometimes and engage in this music. All right,
But the girls are so beautiful.
And it's nice dancing. to
Boricua,
it.
mira, boricua, tú sabes.
But these guys are highly uneducated. Like they came to money real fast. And I don't think they should be the moral standard.
But
I think some of our Puerto Rican video
General was a
editors.
general. General?
I think some of our Puerto Rican video editors are going to have
We have Puerto Rican. Who's our Puerto Rican? We have a Puerto Rican in here? Who is it?
No,
I don't know. They're all Spanish
Wait,
some
we
kind.
don't
I
have
don't
any-
know.
Wait, is Andres?
No.
Where's
You will
Andres?
hear him. He's half Mormon, half a Latino.
Which guy? Which guy's not big Andres? What ethnicity is small Andres?
He's a Venezuelan from the blonde variety.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Son of
He eats a lot of yogurt.
Yeah, he's
Too
a
much.
yogurt guy.
He's a yogurt fiend.
Oh, what the
wrong
hell
with
is
that?
wrong with you, Dre?
No, Brandon, it's fine. Everyday yogurt is good, but he brings in 2 or 3 pots of
And eats them
yogurt.
at his desk.
Yeah,
you know,
he's in good shape.
Since this whole segment has gone completely off the rails, let me just raise this before we end. Have you ever noticed how yogurt is marketed almost exclusively to women?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was you've never seen yogurt targeted at men?
Yeah, that's
I enjoy a
Guess
good
the
yogurt.
thing is, imagine this man yogurt.
Yeah.
That's not a good
Man,
yogurt.
Go-gurt. Or like a go-gurt. Get the hell out of here on the go.
I never felt better after yogurt. I stole that joke from you.
You've never felt better after yogurt?
Nah.
I had to stop eating. I was eating yogurt, grapes, honey, granola every day.
You need more probiotics.
My doctor's
is
like,
what
you're
it
going to
is.
die. And I was like,
But anyway, moving on to our last segment here. Let's talk about whether we are getting a Qatari military base built in the United States. This was a big topic of discussion at the tail end of last week, going into this week. Based on reports, reading from this, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ignited a brief firestorm after announcing a deal that lets the Qatari Emiri Air Force build a facility inside Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho to host F-15s and train alongside U.S. crews. The phrasing initially fueled claims of a foreign base on U.S. soil, but the Pentagon and Qatar quickly clarified that the site will be a dedicated training complex within a U.S.-run base, under U.S.-run jurisdiction, and security, consistent with longstanding on-site training arrangements for allies. Here is the video of Pete Hegseth announcing that just last week.
No one other than President Trump could have achieved the peace that we believe will be a lasting peace in Gaza, and Qatar played a substantial role from the beginning, working with our folks to ensure that came about. So I want to thank you for that historic peace. We look forward to joining the president as that gets it's already been delivered, but as that's formally signed as well. And I'm also proud that today we're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. The location will be host a contingent of Qatari F-15s and pilots to enhance our combined training, increase lethality, interoperability. It's just another example of our partnership. And I hope you know, Your Excellency, that you can count on us.
So you see how that was pitched.
Yeah.
It made it sound like we are building facilities for the Qatari military at an existing military base within the United States, which sounds like a huge problem.
Right.
If I got that right. Like, what do you guys have to say to that?
I'm going to save mine.
You know, we saw a lot of those planes, and someone needs to learn how to fly those planes. And it's basically a jet fighter dealership. That's how I see it. All right. Most of our government runs in that sweet industrial complex money. Let's just make it easy. We show them the planes. We sell them to them. They've been very useful on the peace negotiation talks. They like, even though they've been bad mouths, they're usually very reasonable. I lived in the region. They're usually very reasonable people. A terrible country. Like, once you go to Dubai and then you go to Qatar, like you see, like it's not good. Like, their mall sucks. Well, like joint operations and joint training, like if you know about the military, they do it all the time with all the countries, all right?
I actually have a list of some of the ones they do that with.
One of my really good friends, I can disclose, he's from a foreign navy, and it's an ally to the United States, and they run joint operation training once a year. All right, every year they get together, they get all the boats together, and they run drills, you know, because threats are everywhere. It was like how heated things are. If this was released maybe in a month from now, it would have been a non-story. But with the Qatar involvement, and this and that, I don't know. Like,
well, to what you were saying, arrangements like this are pretty common. The U.S. has hosted allied air units and training detachments for decades under U.S. command and security. For example, Singapore's Air Force has an embedded squadron at that same Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho, training on F-15s alongside the 366 Fighter Wing. NATO partners do the same thing out of an Air Force base in Texas. Germany maintains a U.S.-based tactical training command to oversee its flying training in North America. And there are several others. Qatar is unique because it's the first Arabic Muslim country that we have reached this kind of partnership with. Shockingly, seems like we're suddenly okay with Arabs taking to the skies again, but whatever. If we want to train Muslims on how to fly fighter jets, I guess we sold them to them, so why not follow it all the way through?
If the Saudis gotten this benefit, some people will be losing their shit.
Wow, well, so the base is supposed to house 12 Qatari F-15 jets and 300 Qatari personnel. It turns out the 299 of them are actually Saudi nationals. Maybe we'd have some questions to ask here once again. But a lot of people freaked out about this as soon as Pete Hegseth said it. Laura Loomer, for example, was the most vocal, saying no foreign country should have a military base on U.S. soil, especially Islamic countries. I have never felt more betrayed by the GOP than I do now watching Islamic jihadists get away with implementing Sharia law in the U.S., and now they're getting their own air base where they will train to kill Americans. She went on in multiple points, actually drew a response from Pete Hegseth, eventually saying, important clarification, the U.S. military has a longstanding partnership with Qatar, including today's announced cooperation with the F-15QA aircraft. However, to be clear, Qatar will not have their own base in the United States, nor anything like a base. We control the existing base like we do with all partners.
Can't they train where they, like, first of all, am I losing my mind? Is Qatar the place that funds terrorism?
Well, Israel asked them to fund Hamas, I believe.
Well, that's what I heard a lot of stories where, Bibi was giving them money, and that was technically funding Hamas.
This is why it's so complicated, because everything that people accuse Israel of doing, pro-Israel people say Qatar is doing. So when we say things like, hey, there's this weird Project Esther that's paying American conservative influencers $7,000 a post to make pro-Israel content, they would all respond with, but Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Ian Carroll, they're all paid for by Qatar to spread anti-Israel propaganda. So it's this back and forth of, you're actually everybody wants their opponent to be owned by a country in the Middle East, whether it's Israel or Qatar. Sometimes things just happen organically here that are stupid. But other times we have vested financial interests from other countries trying to get people to do stuff. So I agree with what Laura Loomer is saying. I don't want foreign militaries having bases or really even training.
I don't give a damn if they're footing the bill. I don't want
Laura
nobody
Loomer
here.
Follow that through to its conclusion and say we should suspend all IDF operations in the United States immediately? I highly doubt it. I would. I don't want the Qataris here. I don't want the Israelis here.
What's the argument for it? Like, for people who are in support of either of them, what's the argument for it? Like, why it's a good thing for us?
I think this is paying back for helping stop and Trump with Hamas and stuff. But, bro, you don't invite a foreign military to your soil, let them set up shop, and then call it training. That's not a partnership. You're compromising. And this is coming, Pete Hegseth, this is the Department of War. F that, bro. I don't want nobody here. Nobody train on your own. Go to somebody else's desert and do whatever.
How about the Germans?
What do you mean?
The Germans have
they're sneaky too.
No. By the way, why don't we just let China buy more farmland near our military base? Why not? But let's just let everybody
let them set up an air base.
Bro, but this is the United States of America. I don't want anybody setting up, paying for anything. It compromises the mission. Period. I don't know what backdoor deals happened. I'm America first, bro. No. Build it somewhere else.
The excuse for this is that it's in keeping with all of our alliances that we have. So NATO partners, Qatar is an official allied non-NATO partner. And we do this kind of stuff with all of our allies. We supply them with military equipment because, apparently the U.S. is like the backbone of all these the multilateral international agreements where we have to sustain everybody. Nobody else builds planes like we do. Every other country in the world is building something that tries to replicate what America did in like the 60s.
No. Yeah. I mean, this is a very old and antiquated plane. I think the F-15, because this is the Qatar version. That's why it's QA. They have the SA for Saudi Arabia, the QA for Qatar. It's from 1975, like the F-15. It's a very old airplane. Have you seen the new ones, Vinny?
They're sick.
They're sick.
No, they're ridiculous.
Can you pull up a picture? They're the best. The F-35 lining.
The one that cost $2 billion.
Oh, Brandon, have you seen them though?
Yeah, it doesn't look worth $2 billion.
The F-22s or the new one?
The F-35s.
Oh, those things are sick too, bro.
Look at
I
them.
love our freaking fighter pilot. Like, what's the one beneath it? Is that the Lockheed? That right there, bro. Look at the F-35, bro.
Look at it.
Like, I would want to die. Like, if I'm gonna die, I want that thing to shoot a missile on top of me. That's why. Who killed you?
That's all I want in life. Like,
F-35 Lightning.
F-35, that's it.
No, so in keeping with how we typically do these things, we're giving allied nations older equipment, training them on how to use it.
Not here.
But again, like I was saying, this is the first time an Arabic Islamic country is one of the people benefiting that.
No, stay in Qatar. We can bomb you from afar if you ever get crazy.
I think we should just stop selling our weapons to other countries. I don't care how closely allied you are.
Humberto,
if we stop selling them our military technology.
These like literally funding terrorism. I saw reports. Bibi was funding, giving money to Qatar. They were bringing suitcases of cash to fund Hamas. And what did Bibi say about Hamas? I could turn up the temperature whenever I want. Like basically, he has control. No,
basically they would never get the land back without the existence of Hamas.
Of Hamas. Listen, but I know we're closing right now because I got to go. But you know what? I'm not a fan of it at all. Period.
Just think about the poor people, Lockheed Martin,
having to make all the stuff.
Have a heart. Won't someone think of the defense contractors?
Think of their bonuses, Vinnie.
I know, my bad. It's Christmas is coming. You're right.
Yeah. How are they going to buy mansions?
So you know what? Welcome to the neighborhood, Qatar. Hope you don't try to blow us up as soon as the wind shifts.
Congratulations.
We can cry about this, talk about it, but this is rolling. All right, there's nothing you can do.
No, we're gonna stop it.
Nobody voted on it.
By the way, if somebody's listening to this podcast right now in the car, roll down your windows real quick. Roll down your windows. Put the volume up, and I want somebody that's around you to listen to this. Maybe freaking Department of Justice, Homeland Security is going to come after you.
Well,
sorry,
they might have an F-35
Middle
following you through
Eastern,
traffic.
so I can do whatever the hell I want.
But on that note, let's just hope that our new Qatari associates will have our best interests at heart, and inshallah they shall not bomb us.
Inshallah.
And now I guess it's time for us to conclude. Brandon, Vinny, Humberto, thank you all so much for being here this evening.
You guys.
All of you watching at home, thanks for joining us. Pleasure as always to talk nonsense and have you listen to us even as we do it.
Deep
because
nonsense.
it's fun for us.
So is the lower third for...
I'm gonna cue that up. If you guys like Vinny, want to support Vinny, but more importantly, want to support the message that faith triumphs over fear. We talked about a lot of dark things today, but if you want the world to know that even in the face of all that, you are not afraid, check out the Faith Over Fear collection. Vinny worked long and hard to make this line of merch available. We're rolling it out. People are starting to get their deliveries
awesome.
there.
I'm posting on Instagram.
Awesome. People are working out.
Tag me on Instagram. Oh, working on the gym. Tag me on Instagram. I will definitely repost it.
Yeah.
By the way, hats are going to be coming out November, which look awesome. Awesome. It'll be Faith Over Fear, the cross, the thing, badge, a shield, and then Hebrews 11:11. Yeah. And it just really fast, Connor. I was reading the story about having faith, about how, remember on the boat when Jesus said he was standing on the water and he told Peter to come towards him. When Peter had his eyes set on Jesus and he had the faith, Brandon, he walked perfectly on the water. The moment he started looking down and doubting, he was like, God, help! And he's like, I'm told you, just keep your eye on me and everything's going to be okay. So just having, guys, faith, everything that we talk about God and heaven and all the questions, have faith in your heart of hearts and do not be afraid of anything, guys, because at the end of the day, we're all going to be okay.
No. So check that out. We'll have a link in the description and the chat as well. And
connect us.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Me, I'm trying to buy an F-35.
If you want to get in touch with any of us, we are all on Connect. And you can chat with us there if you have ideas for things you want us to cover, help us get some investigative pieces going. Well, yeah. If you haven't checked them out, go back and watch our 9/11 and Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting investigations. 2 hours on each where we looked at all the weird, unexplained things and tried to get some answers on those tragedies. We're looking to do more of those. If you have ideas, reach out to us on Connect, let us know. And on that note, I think we will sign off there. We will be back here next Tuesday, 6 p.m. for more Unusual Suspects. We'll have some interesting guests lined up soon. And until then, stay safe, everybody, and have a good one.